It is time for Flames Unfiltered, hosted by Brad Burud, Kyle Lewis, an off-season edition.
That sucks. It's really it's late April. We shouldn't be talking off-season in April. Shouldn't be, but alas, here we are.
2 years in a row. I don't know.
Yeah, we did. Did we remember we used to do like the 1 year on, 1 year off kind of thing? Like 15 playoffs, 16 didn't, 17 I think we did, 18 didn't, 19 we got smoked by Colorado.
Yeah, I'd rather just miss that.
I don't really count the bubble years. That was just really fucked up. So
it was hard to decipher, what year it really even was, right?
Yeah, like I don't know, but there's a certain amount of solace that comes with, like, we could be getting dummied in the playoffs right now, even if you have that grain of hope. But I mean, like, we saw the exit interviews. We'll talk about that. A couple little transactions, all the guys being signed to the Wranglers. We kind of get a head start on the offseason, which isn't what you want, but it's for a team in the position we're in, it's not a terrible thing, I guess.
It's not like it was an unexpected thing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and we were competitive up until, basically the time I was in Calgary. We were in it till mid-March, which at least we had some meaningful hockey to watch. Then the wheels just completely fell off, and it's tough. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we saw some really, really inspired performances throughout the year, and there's some guys I think performed better than we thought they would. And
for sure, actually some positives this year. So speaking of positives. You know that this is our 200th episode, Kyle.
That's right. Yeah. That's
200.
right. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm lucky to have joined when I did. I mean, that's all you, man. I mean, you did. I haven't done 200. You have.
No, but you joined the start of season 4. You guessed it like 3 times, I think, before that. But you started 4, and so now we've rattled off 2 seasons together, which seems like
that's crazy.
It seems like we just had the conversation of like, hey, let's do this,
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I remember ordering the stuff on Amazon for the setup and like,
that's fun.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has.
Let's hope we can keep it going for a lot more years, because I sure enjoy doing this every week. So.
Oh, likewise, and I mean they've given us lots to talk about. They always seem to, whether it's on the ice or off the ice. So
good or bad, man. I've had positives and negatives, right?
Yeah. So what do we want to start with? What are you feeling?
I want to get 2 things out of the way, and then I'm gonna let you roll.
All right. What do you got?
I know you're a book guy. Nazem Kadri is coming out with a book.
I was just thinking of that.
In line to read it or not in line to read it?
Oh, I'm 100% going to read it. I find it a little strange to release it. We'll call it 5/8 through his career. 3/4, whatever you want to call it, right?
I think it's a really odd time, and it's really odd that he's got a Toronto jersey on in the cover.
Yeah, I don't love that.
I don't know.
Every other hockey book ever, Doug Gilmour, Kelly Rudy, Gretzky, like, you don't publish books in the middle of your career. And I some professional wrestlers that have done it too, and it's like, dude, your story's not done. So you're going to do like a Chris Jericho or Mick Foley and write like, part 2?
You know who else did it? Theo Fleury.
Oh, yeah. I don't think, that's that Fury or whatever it's called.
Yes. And the book do you have
that?
I have it. Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, I don't have it. I think it's been
almost impossible to get now. It's a really hard book to get. It's a good read.
Yeah.
But if you read it now, knowing what we know now, you would think the whole thing was just a farce, right?
Well, that's kind of like Alice Cooper's book. So Alice Cooper released Golf Monster like, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago. And it wasn't a great read. It was not in depth enough, like for hardcore Cooper fans like myself. And he didn't discuss his drug use. He just talked about his alcoholism. And then when Super Duper Alice Cooper, the documentary actually made in Canada, came out in like 2015 or something like that.
Where can you watch that at?
What's that?
Where's that at? Where can I watch that at?
On Amazon.
Is it?
And it's fantastic. But I think it was Bernie Taupin who'd worked with Alice in the 70s, said, I'm not participating in this unless Alice admits to his cocaine use. And Alice, for the first time publicly in that documentary, disclosed he was majorly addicted to cocaine. He released the weirdest album of his career. He nearly died. And similar to the Theo book, I mean, when you release and not to say this is the case of Nazem Kadri, when you release a book that early and you're holding back on certain things, you aren't prepared to discuss them, and then later where you do discuss them, it comes across as dishonest and ingenuine. You know,
that was my point, and I'm not saying Nazem's going to do that. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I'm ready to read this book. Hopefully there's a lot more chapters to write, right? I don't know.
Well, I would think so. I mean, it'll be interesting because I know there was some, Nazem Kadri's had to deal with racism, of course, in his career and his life. I'm sure he'll talk about his reputation as a player and things that have, gone on. I mean, it'll be a great read. I'm going to order it. There's no question. But the timing does seem strange for sure.
It comes out like the week the NHL season starts next year.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's really, really weird. Now I'll use this to tie into a book I just finished because we have a lot of people that are hockey fans and wrestling fans in our community. So I just finished Guy Evans' newest book, which is David Penzer's autobiography. And it's absolutely fantastic, largely because of what we just said. It's a retrospective. He's thinking back on his career with WCW and the height of the wrestling wars in the 90s. And it's so candid and so interesting. And I couldn't put it down. I got it on Saturday and I finished it by Monday night. I posted my Amazon review, and then Guy Evans pin tweeted my Amazon review. Because it's such an intimate memoir. And that's the thing too about this Kadri book. Things are so different in hindsight, right? Because we always say the benefit of hindsight, right? It's 2020, all those things. So anyway, all that to say, David Penzer's book is fantastic. I can't recommend it enough for anybody who's even the least bit into professional wrestling, and there's going to be a second volume of it released next year. So you know me, I love to plug books that I read and bands that we listen to and different stuff. So, but yeah, again, I don't know. Just to go back to the Kadri book, it's interesting to see how that comes out.
Yeah,
how it comes across, maybe.
I know. It's just, I don't know. Timing's just weird. On to one other thing we have to check off our list, and then we can free flow. We promised last week we would come up with a name for the Utah team.
Yeah. Did you see the ones that we're considering?
I did. And I actually looked at it again this morning, and I was like, what do I like in this list? And what do I not like, right? Looking for
Wasn't Fury one of them?
Yes, it was. There's the full list.
I'm just thinking because the Theo Fleury book, right? So
yeah,
funny little tie-in.
Mammoth, Utah Ice, Utah Yetis, Utah Venom, Utah Fury, Utah Blizzard, Utah Outlaws.
See, some of those are too cartoony to me.
Well, what I've heard is happening in the league is that they're not even having a name next year.
That's ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous too. They're not from what the preliminary talks were with the league that they would not have a name and logo next year, which to me seems like that's a different team of your organizations working on that than the organization working on the team. So I feel like it can be done before then, and
it's like when the Jets were at the draft with the NHL blank jerseys, it looks stupid. I understand there was a time crunch there because of the relocation, but I can't even imagine going a season without it. But
no, I
don't. It's twofold for me. I like that they want to represent the state of Utah, but I was a much bigger fan of naming them the Salt Lake whatever instead of because Salt Lake is just a cool name to me, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but I appreciate they want to represent the state. I mean, that makes sense, especially when you're trying to appeal to a broader market outside of the city, right?
Well, and let's face facts. That's the only city in the state that's going to have anything. So,
yeah. So of those names, actually, I don't mind Fury at all. It kind of rolls off the tongue the way the Minnesota Wild does, and although that I remember sounded weird to me 25 years ago,
I didn't like it. I still don't like the Wild. But when you grow up watching the North Stars, it's hard to like anything, right?
And at least for the Wild too, they have beautiful color schemes. They've always had nice jerseys. Their expansion jerseys, the home and away they wore when they came into the league, were some of the nicest in the league at that time, I felt.
You know what name I'm going to go with that I like? And I can't believe I like this. I don't mind Yetis. That sounds stupid, but I don't mind it. It's different. I don't know. I could see us saying Flames Yetis tonight.
Mm-hmm. Well, it may very well be the case, so we might have to get used to it. I just think of the Yeti. Do you think like Yeti, the beverage holders, they're gonna, sign a sponsorship deal?
They'll probably friggin' sue them, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah. That's one of the ones I would go with. I could get behind that.
I don't know. Blizzard's not bad either. I know that sounds kind of cartoonish.
But does Blizzard fit? Like, does Utah get a lot of snow?
No.
That's what I mean. Like, it doesn't.
All the mountains do. Well, yeah, they do probably. I'm probably wrong on that. They probably actually do. Yeah, they probably do.
It'd be fun to get a Utah fan on the show.
I don't know a lot about Utah. I've never been there. I know it's right to the southwest of Colorado. It's not that far from Denver. Salt Lake isn't.
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Why would you ever be there? They're not going to have a flooring expo in Utah.
No, right? They're not. They're not having a flooring
expo. Have you ever been to IBS in Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah. We could have met there if we'd known.
There's a lot of times that I've heard that like the main flooring show and IBS is like it's either the same time or overlap a day or two.
Well, that's like KBIS and IBS, so the kitchen and bath show. That's what I was down there for too. So we should look at doing that. That could be fun.
Yep, I always love going to those shows. So
yeah,
Flames. Let's talk Flames.
Yeah,
where the hell do you want to start, Kyle? Like where do you want to
go?
Do we want to spend an hour talking about that San Jose game?
No, that game is everything that we expected it should have been. I feel it was. I got off the ice that night, came home, watched the game. Every time I left the room, the Flames seemed to score. It was fun. The only missing was the Dustin Wolf shutout, who, by the way, just had a shutout in the AHL playoffs. So kudos to him, 46 saves.
He should have stopped that last one. Now I still blame Pospisil for taking a stupid penalty, but
yeah,
that shot Wolf went down way early and showed his size, and it went right over him. And I don't know, but
yeah, that's a challenge being a small goaltender, though, right? They're always anytime they get beat, it's going to be blamed on their size, and understandably so, because they have to rely so much more on athleticism than the Pekka Rinnes and the Ben Bishops of the world, right?
But hey, UC Saros does it, and so can Dustin Wolf, right?
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of playing meaningless games at the last game of the year against San Jose.
Yeah, I don't like the scheduling there. It's basically a carbon copy. What was the score a year ago? Wasn't it 4-1?
I think it was 4-1.
I'm confident of that, actually. Yeah, I was
pretty sure it was 4-1.
Just dumb. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about that game. It didn't mean fuck all, right? So
no. Let's talk milestones. There was a lot of milestones in that game, and that probably meant the most of anything.
I think the only one missing, Kadri finished the season at 29 goals, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was getting double shifted. I listened to Ryan Huska this morning on the 960, and he was saying that he was doing everything he could to get him out there to get that. So,
yeah. But I think that's the only big one that missed. So let's talk about arguably the biggest one, because it ties into other things, but Mackenzie Weegar.
Yep.
So the first player in league history to record 20 goals, first defenseman to record 20 goals and 200 block shots.
Yep. And one crazy stat to go with that is 17 of those goals were even strength goals.
That is fucking wild.
And I believe that passes Al McInnes for the single season record in franchise history.
Yeah, correct. That's a shitload, man. Because guys like John Carlson, like he scored 30, I think, like one of the first guys since Kevin Hatcher had done it. Don't ask me why I remember that, but anyway.
I was going to say
they rely they rely so heavily on the power play to get those goals, and I don't believe Weegar got as many looks in the power play or as lengthy of a look as he necessarily deserved, right? Throughout the course of the whole season, that is.
The last Flames defenseman to get 20 plus was Giordano in 15-16. He had 21,
and prior to that would have been Phaneuf in 05-06 with, I think it was 20. I think
it's crazy.
It's a wild stat, and it like makes you think of Gary Suter, Al McInnes, as you mentioned. Like, that's a hell of an accomplishment. What a fucking season!
Did you see what he credited it to?
No, I didn't.
It says here, Weegar credits Chris Sutter with playing a role in his offensive surge. Chris Sutter told him to shorten his stick at Christmas of 2022, and it's worked.
Yeah, somebody told me to do the same thing, and it worked for me.
Hey.
Wow, that's wild. That's so cool.
It's funny, though, isn't it? It's kind of funny that, that I mean, that he even thinks it would correlate,
Yep. Well, it makes a big difference. I don't know how Marty St. Louis played with such a long stick. It made no sense to me. Realistically, I would have thought he would have been better without it, but anyway.
I like a shorter stick, don't you?
Oh, you have way more control. Way more control. In terms of where the puck goes, especially. Yep. Plus your torque, too. Like, if you're taking a slap shot with a full-length stick and you're only, like, my height, like 5'10", and, like, you can't... You're not really putting your body weight into the puck, right? You're just swinging the stick. If you have a shorter stick, you got to lean into it more. You're using the power in your thighs to get behind the puck. You're using more of your lower back to get behind the puck. Like, I can rifle a puck pretty good with the right length of stick. It's easier to shoot with a longer one, but it also makes for a lazier shot, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree. I think it's, I know a lot of defensemen want longer sticks for, reach, and I understand that because their main object is to have it not go in the net, so I get both sides of it. Another milestone, Coleman, 30. He got it. He was out injured.
Tapered off big time. He tapered off big time. I'm kind of surprised he hit it, but I'm very glad that he did.
And he was out with injury too, so but he gets it, and that's a pretty big milestone considering his years in Calgary. He said 16, 18, and now 30.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming. But, I mean, did anybody see Sharon Govich scoring 30?
No, speaking of shots, let's talk about Sharon Govich's shot.
You talked about this in the last show, too, as I recall.
Did we?
You talked about how deceptive his shot was.
It is such a whip-like shot. I don't know. I was on the ice the other night, and I was trying to, shoot the puck like he does, and it's just so weird.
Well, you don't build. First of all, you don't build enough Lego, so start with that.
No, I got to start with the Lego house, and then move on.
Yeah. Was there another one too? Is there one we're forgetting for Milestone?
No, I think that's it. I think those were.
Yeah, I think the only one that would have missed was Kadri hitting 30. That would have been cool. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, locker cleanout. Not even close to as eventful as last year. Last year everybody was all, well, no one's happy here. No one's happy here. This is a locker cleanout where, hey, it sucks we're doing it, but we're happy. Is there any good feelings in that, I guess? I don't know.
I think they're coming back with maybe more purpose and drive than the prior year. I don't know if that makes sense. They got rid of a lot of guys that clearly didn't want to be there anymore. Yeah, we won't know until next season. But I mean, the vibe is overall better, which is a good start, I think. This team still has a lot of good pieces. It's just going to be really difficult to make it into a playoff team.
I think the biggest glitch in the locker cleanout was Markstrom and his comment when he was asked, and he says, I don't know. We'll see what happens going forward. I love winning hockey games. That's the competitive side of me. Yeah, I would love to listen to the conversations with Conroy on this. And I don't understand. And let me throw this out. So he was upset on how the team handled it. And he even said he doesn't like his name being out in trade rumors. Well, I hate to say this. I know nobody on the Calgary Flames organization called out and said, hey, let's start trade rumors on Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah.
So for Jacob Markstrom to be upset with the Flames for trade rumors is completely idiotic. Trade rumors come from the media and fan base.
Yep.
So if you're going to be mad at the media, or be mad at the fan base. This is not. I don't understand how he keeps saying he doesn't like the way the organization handled it. They came to him, asked him, the trade fell through. What the hell was the team supposed to do?
Yeah. I don't know. That's the thing. I mean, I think more of his frustration. Never mean that it's stupid to really comment on that because that's, you know what, you're you're on a team that's not making the playoffs with a not awful amount of term money left in your contract, those things are going to happen. I think more of his frustration, and it's hard to say this in public, or you wouldn't want to necessarily say it, it's that, hey, they traded away half the defense in front of me. Clearly they weren't interested in being competitive anymore, or they couldn't get the guy signed. So I don't know where that leaves me because, we've got like 8 tweeners fighting for roster spots next year.
Well, I know, but then I know Jacob Markstrom didn't come to the Flames when he was negotiating his contract and say, hey, sign me only up to only to 3 years. So when Tanev and them are UFAs, I'm a UFA with them. Like,
yeah. Well, that's
he was okay with it. I mean, you can't control the future, right? Yeah. And that's what I don't understand. I don't.
Well, it's like Kadri saying you didn't sign up for a rebuild. No, you signed up with the Calgary Flames.
None of us signed up for a rebuild.
Yeah, that's
years ago. We were a Stanley Cup favorite.
Yep.
Do you think anybody?
This is it.
None of us signed up for this. Nobody wants to go through this. But hey, when you have that many pending UFAs, you have to get something for them if they're not going to re-sign with you. And our hands were tied. And this is where we're at as a team, as a fan base, and as a group of players. So we better figure it out all together, right?
And that's the thing. I mean, so Kadri and Huberdeau come in basically ostensibly to replace Tkachuk and Gaudreau. And other than Tkachuk, none of these guys have had anywhere near the same success after they moved on. Gaudreau had a terrible year. I mean, the Blue Jackets did too.
Horrible.
But then you see like somebody tweeted again, like, "Oh, we almost had this," and I was like, "Tkachuk, Gaudreau, and Eichel." No, we didn't. And even if we did, there's no guarantee it was going to go well.
We would be in cap hell if we would have got Eichel, and we surely wouldn't have been able. We wouldn't have Weegar now. Did people forget that?
Yeah.
Everybody forgets the other parts of the deal, right? I mean,
that's the thing. But I mean, it's not like it used to be in the league either, wherein you were Colorado, you were Dallas, you were New Jersey, and you were a goddamn good hockey team every year. Detroit, probably the best example, actually. There's so much parity in the league. When you sign a long-term deal with whatever team you sign with, you're signing up for whatever they go through. So if you don't like it, you're either going to sign for less money your term, or you're going to negotiate. And nobody's willing to do it. This is all hypothetical, but you're going to pull a Roman Turek and take a pay cut if you want the team to be able to be more competitive. These guys are competitors and they're winners, and I get all that, but in the same breath, they're not insofar as I didn't sign up for this. Yeah, you did because you wanted the money.
Yep, exactly. And that's where I'm at. It's like, I don't know. And I don't know. Brett Cron said it good too. There's a quote I wrote down here. He says, I know he's frustrated. I understand that, but the season is over. I don't have any sympathy for him at all, or this at all. You're allowed to not like how things were handled, but this is a professional sports. You're paid to play through it. And that's just what it is.
And that's it. And I do hope sincerely, closed door, one-on-one, Conroy and Markstrom have a conversation and be clear. Like, listen, we're going to build as competitive a team as we feel we can over the course of the summer, come into camp with a lot of bodies competing for a lot of positions, and we're gonna try and right this ship. But if by Christmas we're not in the race or just on the cusp or whatever, we're going to sit down with you and your agent. We're going to identify teams that you would want to play for potentially and see if we can make a deal with them before the trade deadline. And everybody wins. This doesn't have to be a toxic drug out thing. There's no fucking need of it.
No. And quite honestly, I know everybody's bracing for a long, long rebuild. Sometimes they aren't long, right? Well, they're long when you do it the Buffalo Sabres way.
Yeah, 15 playoffs. We made it to the second round. Nobody saw that coming. Against all odds, mathematically, probably shouldn't have when you look at how the team, performed and how unsustainable it was. But that's the league and that's the game that these guys play. So, and all that said, if you're ready to cue it up, this might be a good segue.
Let's do it. Let's go.
So, at Brad's request and long overdue, I picked the X Factor for this week. And I actually had scrolled through Flames hashtags and different things to come up with one that I thought was a good discussion piece. So Brandon, who is at B_Canadian_ape with a picture of Weegar, which is awesome. In my very own selfish feelings, I absolutely hate to watch former Flames Monahan and Toffoli playing playoff games on the same line for another team. I want them to win, but it just sucks it isn't with the flaming C on their chests. How did you feel when you read this?
Well, I want Monahan to win, but I don't give a rat's ass about Toffoli.
So, in saying that, you're kind of proving the duality of this, right? Because I said the same thing to Noah Hannafin. I don't wish him any kind of way.
I don't want him to get injured.
I'd rather see. Yeah, no, of course, but you didn't want to be here. See you later. I don't care that you're a former Flame.
I don't
matter to me. Monahan, I kind of feel I don't know Toffoli. I never met him. I've met Monahan. I've met John Monahan, his father.
Hey,
great guy.
Monahan didn't sign up to leave Calgary.
No, they threw him.
Monahan did everything he possibly could to better his situation in Calgary.
Yeah,
he was shipped out because he couldn't play, and now he's thriving again. And I wish him all the luck in the world because this guy's went through hell and back with injuries.
Yep. Yeah, and he has.
The only team I've ever thought that Toffoli's been loyal to is the LA Kings, and that's because he hoisted a cup there. He wasn't loyal to Calgary, and he's not loyal to New Jersey right now because right now, I mean, he wasn't loyal to New Jersey, was he? I mean, he just right.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because somebody tweeted a lengthy list of former Flames in the playoffs, and there was so many. There's Hannafin, Lewis, Toffoli, Monahan, Tanev, and it was probably 25 names. The end of it all, and it's like. Yeah, and it's like again, they could go to another team that you think is going to make a deep run and they miss the playoffs. Like there's so much parity you don't know. But I always find it interesting to say, like, how do you feel?
We can make a list from every single team. Like, I don't know. Like, I look at guys like Tanev and Hannafin and all them, and they weren't re-signing here. So what were we supposed to do?
Well, that's the thing. But to me, also, it's almost as if this generation of fans thinks that real hockey is just like the EA Sports NHL video game series. So you got two defensemen that are rated 85 in the same pairing. Oh, it's a top pairing. Well, not necessarily. They don't jive well together, right? Like, again, Sakic with Korea and Solani in Colorado was a fucking disaster. That's why I'm saying the Eichel thing may never have worked in Calgary. But, I mean...
We have no idea.
Yeah, to look at all those guys on playoff teams, it's like, what's your point? I got former coworkers that are fantastic when they worked for us. Now they work for distributors and competitors and whatever. And maybe they're doing better, maybe they're doing worse. I don't know. But like, there's never any guarantee of this stuff. And as far as how you feel about players playing, meaningful playoff hockey, I keep an interest in those things. But we've like my brother, who is like defective when it comes to sports. He doesn't understand them, doesn't get behind them, like nothing. Like he'll say to me, like, well, if your favorite player gets traded. Yeah, you could ask him that. Like he doesn't get sports at all.
I think that's a good choice of words.
Yeah, and hopefully he'll listen to this. So, as far as that whole thing goes, he'll ask me like, well, if your favorite player like Joe McGinley or whatever gets traded, like why do you keep cheering for the same team? It's like, well, that's sports. That's my team.
Yeah, not leaving my team.
Guys like that well.
The only time that I said I would leave the Flames. Remember when all the rumors dropped a couple years ago about Houston?
All the rumors that Eric Francis started? Yep.
I told my friends and family and everybody that if they do move to Houston, I'm out on Calgary.
You told me that too. We talked about that on the show one time. Yep.
Yeah. I was out. That was the one thing I was out on. I'm like, no, they're not the Calgary Flames anymore. I don't know very many Winnipeg Jets fans that were like, hey, you know what? It sucks they're moving to Arizona, but I'm cheering for the Yotes. No, that didn't happen.
Well, it's also different for us, though, because, we don't live in Calgary, but at the same time, we have so many connections to Calgary through friends, to the team. Like, it feels like a second home to me. So if they were to leave, to go anywhere else, that's like, unless maybe, if they did like Quebec City, like closer to me, I could probably get behind that. But if they go to like Houston, like, I don't give a shit about Houston. I'll just become a Jets fan.
No, I'm a Jets fan then, too.
Yeah.
Wow, did we just say
Although, and I got to point this out too. First of all, we need to say thanks for the X Factor because that was a really thoughtful one. That really got the wheels turning for me. So I'm having a really, really, really hard time cheering for the Jets right now. All of a sudden,
why?
Jesse Pollock. I cannot fucking stand that guy. I can't. Have you seen any of this stuff on Bar Down? Like. He should be a lot of people said this on X. He should be a Leafs fan. He's so arrogant and so like he obviously like he just drives me nuts.
I have a good filter on those guys. I just don't care.
But
I just ignore. I've enjoyed watching the Jets so far. I'm cheering for Monahan. I am.
Yep. Oh yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm a little worried about Hellebuck.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
They don't play tonight. I think they play tomorrow night, right?
Yeah,
tomorrow night. There's only 2 games tonight, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, 2 early games tonight. No late.
11 o'clock start tomorrow night for me. Whew. Yeah, wild. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, yeah.
I got a question for you, and we'll talk more about the playoffs too. But these World Championships that are coming up, we're hearing that Weegar's turned down Canada's invite. Backlund hasn't made a decision yet. Rasmus Andersson declined. Sweden, Pospisil is playing for Slovakia, and Kadri has turned down Team Canada. How do you feel about players playing in the World Championship?
Good experience, but I don't pay a lot of attention, to be quite honest. Remember Mangiapane had a banger of a year?
Well, what does that got us? It got us a bad contract is what it got us. I hate the World Championships. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. And I'm worried as hell that Pospisil's going to play for Slovakia because I don't know how you feel. I worry a lot of times when Pospisil's playing because I'm like, I don't want him getting hurt. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't see the good in going to play in the World Championships. I just don't see it.
I don't really either. The Spangler Cup is almost more worthwhile.
Yeah.
Maybe I guess in that case, I'm thinking particularly about Curtis Joseph getting into game shape before he signed with Calgary in 07-08.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
we're gonna have some roster decisions next year. Waiver exemption for Connor Zary and Jacob Pelche is gone, and Wolf, Peoria, Klapka, and Coronado are in their final year. So, some decisions are going to have to be made. I think we've made them on Connor Zary.
100%.
I don't think we know at all what we're going to get from Jacob Pelche.
No, because he lost too much of the season. Yeah, 100% fair. His demotion was well timed. And I hesitate to even use the word demotion because he needed that. It was clear he was not up to NHL standards. His pace of play, his puck reads, like everything about him was just a step behind, it felt like, which is understandable given the nature of the injury he sustained, right? So hopefully he has a good summer training wise, and next fall we'll see really what we have in him, right?
I hope he proves me wrong because I've been a little hard on him lately.
Yep.
My gut tells me that not good, but let's have him prove me wrong, okay? Because my gut's been wrong. Okay.
Yeah, I think if I had to guess based on what we know right now, his ceiling is, an agitator with a scoring touch, which is extremely valuable, especially in playoff games. Like him and Pospisil on the same line or even on the same team could be extremely beneficial, but do I see him as a second line scoring winger? I don't.
Yeah. But
again, jury's still out. We're going to reserve judgment, but yeah, he needs a reset, and hopefully that's what he gets.
But here's a bright spot is now we get to watch some meaningful hockey for these young players on the Wranglers as the playoffs started last night, and we mentioned it previous, but let me pull up my notes on that game. Dustin Wolf did have a shutout, 46 saves. The Wranglers win 2-0 in game 1 of the best of 3 series against the Tucson Roadrunners. Goals were Schwint, and then Coronado ended with an empty netter. There's a lot of guys on this Wranglers team that we saw with the Flames. As Wolf went back, Klapka went back, Coronado, Solovyov, Hanzik has been signed, and Hunter Brustevich is on the roster also. So
yeah, there was an interview with him yesterday, I think, through the Flames website, and seemed pretty excited. But they have so many D, I don't know how you possibly draw in, but
you don't know though, right? They do have a ton of D, just a ton of D.
Speaking of D, did you hear about Joel Hanley and his living arrangements in Calgary?
Yeah, I did see that.
That's cool, eh? Chris Tana just in his house. I love that.
I've heard of that happening before, and
that's a Just what we needed, another reason to love Kristanev.
Yeah, I know. Gosh, that's yeah. It's so weird seeing him in another jersey. It just I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me. Before we get off the Wranglers, that series continues. Tucson Friday night, and then Sunday.
Best of 3, right?
Yeah, best of 3. All of them in Tucson. What is with the AHL's playoff format? It is horseshit. It is horseshit.
It's horseshit. I mean, a lot of the things about the AHL are just worlds behind. Anyway,
terrible.
Yeah.
So, NHL playoffs. What's catching your eye in the NHL playoffs?
Winnipeg, Colorado, just because, so much firepower in that series. It's unreal. So yeah, that one's been fun. Carolina and New York has been a really fun one.
I cannot believe the comeback the other night. I was watching and I was just like what? Like they come back. That's got to be a dagger in the Islanders. I don't know.
Yeah, that one had to sting, but it's every series is really interesting. I will tell you one thing that drove me absolutely nuts tonight. Chris Cuthbert on the Leafs Bruins broadcast in Game 2, and Matthews scored his goal, and Cuthbert announced that it's his 70th goal of the season, regular season and playoffs combined. No, it's his first of the playoffs.
Yes,
that's all that is. The 69 goals is done. He didn't hit 70. Kadri didn't hit 30. Like, that's such a Toronto-centric thing to say. It pissed me off so much.
The hockey world wonders why everybody cheers against Toronto.
That's 100% why.
That's it right there. That's it.
By the way, do you follow Toronto Sports Network on Twitter?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. It's a great parody because it's so true. Like, that to me is so unprofessional and so biased. It's like, no, that's not, it's not relevant at all. At all.
I don't know. It's frustrating and it makes me cheer against them. Even I can't cheer for Boston, but I can't cheer for Toronto either, right? I mean, I hate both of them so bad that
you just hope they beat the piss out of each other and the next team takes whoever wins out.
Well, the next team's going to probably be Florida because Florida's found a way, man. They have found a way against Tampa Bay. They're up 2-0 in that series. And
I think Tampa's window is closing and Florida's just entered theirs.
Yeah, we saw that last year, right? The emergence of the Panthers.
Yep.
The West is a little tighter outside of Vegas getting up 2-0 on Dallas, which surprised the heck out of me, but they are manhandling Dallas, and that one's a 2-0. Winnipeg, Colorado 1-1, Vancouver, Nashville 1-1, Edmonton, LA 1-1. Let's talk about the two that affect the Flames the most. Vancouver, Demko's out for an undetermined time. Nashville comes out and wins that game, and really should have won game 1 too. So is Vancouver in trouble?
Absolutely. Did you see that little emotional support video the Canucks fans made for Casey DeSmith? No. It was awkward and weird and just unnecessary. Anyway, yeah, Casey DeSmith's a good goaltender, but Patrick Demko is a great goaltender. So, but I mean, think of all those crazy runs of the past. Johan Hedberg, 20-some years ago with the Penguins. Cam Ward with the Hurricanes. Dwayne Rollison with the Oilers. There's any goaltender that's got NHL level skill can go on a run in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So maybe this is his time. We'll see.
Edmonton, LA bites back last night and with an overtime win. They were actually up 3-1 in this game, and Edmonton stormed back. Power play goal from Zach Hyman kind of got the thing rolling again, and LA did end up winning this in overtime. I believe it was on a Kopitar goal, and wow, that's going to be a series. I still think Edmonton looks superior, but LA's not throw in the towel on this one, I don't think.
No, the Kings are a good forechecking team, and they beat up on Edmonton a little bit, I found. And in the 7-game series, I don't know. I'm not sure the Kings are. I can see them taking that. I really could.
It's going to be interesting. The West is really going to be interesting. Because I think the Winnipeg Colorado series could go either way. I think all three of those series could go the other way. I don't know if I see Dallas coming back on Vegas here.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, but they got to win. For all the teams down 2-0, you got to win the next game.
Yep, for sure.
I don't think anybody's capable of coming back from 3-0 of all the teams in the playoffs.
No, I've seen it happen, but no, I'm with you on that too. The thing is, it's so funny is if Dallas wins this next game, it's 2-1. Well, then it's anybody's series again, right? One game changes things.
That's what makes it fun, right?
So quickly. As far as Flames news, the only thing we got coming up in the near future is the lottery.
Yep.
What do we have? A 6% 6% chance?
I think it's 6. Yeah. Last I saw was 6. So 6-ish.
I go on to this tankathon. Have you ever done this and done the simulator?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it one time here while we're on the show, and we're picking 10th. We fell a spot. Not good, right? That's just our luck.
Is that what it's called? Is tankathon?
Yep. It's an NHL draft simulator. That one had Montreal moving up 4 spots to take first overall.
I'm going to open up right now.
You do it one time to see if you have better luck than me, but I had us fall in a spot.
9th. So just say the same.
So it'll say the same.
And I'm going to hit it several times and see if we move.
See if we can get first.
I'm having a really hard time making this happen.
At least we get a chance, right?
Damn it.
It's addictive. You'll sit and play it. It's like you're in Vegas. It's like you're playing a slot machine, right? Probably more disappointing.
Just like me when I gamble, I give up.
Yeah. All right, Kyle, that's 200 episodes of books, man. That is 200 episodes.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Congratulations to you. First and foremost to you. For creating this, for doing this. For dragging me along for that. It's more fun. We got quite a ways to go yet.
We got a lot. We got a lot planned for next year, and we got 9 shows planned for this off season. The next show will be in 2 weeks. We'll talk a little bit about the draft, lottery. Hopefully, they haven't announced a finalized date on when they're doing that yet, but we'll update the NHL playoffs, talk about any other Flames news. Just because it is off season, we still have Calgary Flames stuff to talk. Right, Kyle?
Always, and we have a tentative schedule we kind of done up, but that is always contingent on what happens. So, we're never far.
Well, Flames fans, let's sit back, let's relax, let's watch some NHL playoffs. Even though the Flames aren't in it, we can watch the Jets. And we want to see the Canucks and Oilers lose, so there's definitely some fun ahead as we get Stanley Cup playoff hockey.
Absolutely.
All right, Flames fans, till 2 weeks from now, enjoy, sit back, relax, enjoy some nicer weather. We'll talk soon, Flames fans.
Thanks for listening to Flames Unfiltered with Brad Burud and Kyle Lewis, your source for unfiltered Calgary Flames hockey talk. Keep it locked on flamesunfiltered.ca. Subscribe where you get all your podcasts to never miss an episode. Flames Hockey Talk every week, presented by Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.